Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by sparkling rivers, lived a maiden named Veronica. She was the epitome of beauty. Her laughter brought joy to all who heard it. Every man who crossed paths with Veronica was enchanted by her beauty, and many came from near and far, hoping to win her hand in marriage. Wealthy merchants, gallant knights, and even noblemen offered riches and promises of wealth to her parents. But time and again, Veronica would decline them all. Her parents, humble farmers, could not understand why she was rejecting all the men seeking her hand in marriage. They saw each suitor as an opportunity to secure their family's future. Night after night, her mother would sit by her side, asking, "Why do you refuse all your suitors? These men could give you a life of comfort and happiness." But Veronica, with a gentle smile and tearful eyes, would only say, "I cannot marry them, mother. Please trust me." "Why do you turn them away, Veronica?" her father would ask. "These men offer you everything, a home, wealth, and secure future." "I cannot marry them. Please trust me. There are reasons you cannot understand," Veronica would reply, her voice laced with sadness. Little did her parents know, Veronica's refusals were not entirely her own. What Veronica could not tell her parents was that she belonged to someone already, a spiritual husband, a handsome and tall merman named Leo. She could see and communicate with her spiritual husband. Whenever a man came to seek Veronica's hand in marriage, Leo would appear to her that same evening, rising from the river in all his majestic beauty. "Veronica, my wife," he would say, his deep voice resonating like a song of the sea. "I am handsome, tall, and perfect for you. Why would you need a human husband? I am jealous of any man who dares to dream of taking you from me." Though Leo's words were tender, they carried an undeniable force. Veronica, bound by their spiritual connection, could not defy him. She would decline each suitor, knowing it was not truly her choice. One day, a particularly charming and wealthy nobleman arrived in the village. He was tall and handsome. He showered Veronica's parents with gifts and made promises of a life filled with luxury. Her parents were overjoyed, certain that this match was perfect. That night, Leo appeared again, rising from the river under the moonlight. His expression was dark, his jealousy flaring like waves in a storm. "Veronica," he said, "do not even think of accepting this man. He is handsome, but not as handsome as I am. Do you not see? No one can compare to me." Veronica looked at him with sorrow in her eyes. "Leo," she whispered, "why do you hold me to this bond? I live in a world where people expect me to marry, to share my life with someone, but I cannot because of you." "You are mine," Leo said firmly. "You will always be mine." Veronica knelt before Leo. "Please, Leo," she pleaded, her voice trembling. "My parents are worried. They think something is wrong with me because I keep rejecting every suitor. I want to marry and live as a human should. There is a man I love. He is kind, rich, and handsome. I want to marry him. Free me from your bond." "You dare to love another man," he growled. "You are my wife, Veronica. You are not supposed to love anyone else. You are bound to me forever." Veronica's tears flowed freely as she looked up at him. "But Leo, you are not human. You are a spirit while I am a mortal. I need a human husband to share my life with. I am begging you, let me go. Let me have this one chance at happiness." Leo stared at her, his heart torn. Her words pierced him deeply, and though his jealousy flared, the sight of her sorrow softened him. He could not bear to see her in such anguish. With a sigh, he said, "Very well, Veronica, you may marry. But there is one condition." Veronica looked up, hope flickering in her tear-streaked eyes. "What condition?" she asked. "You cannot marry a man who is as handsome as I am," Leo declared firmly. "I am your spiritual husband, and I want to be the only handsome man in your life. Choose someone who does not rival my beauty, and I will not stop you." Veronica's heart sank slightly, but she nodded, knowing this was the only way she could gain her freedom. "Thank you, Leo," she whispered. "I will honor your condition." One bright morning, the village was abuzz with news that two new suitors had come to seek Veronica's hand in marriage. One of them was Patrick, a tall and handsome nobleman with a confident demeanor. The other was Benjamin, a short and awkward man with rough features and a nervous smile. Veronica's parents were delighted, believing this was their chance to finally see their daughter married. As the suitors presented their intentions, Veronica couldn't help but be drawn to Patrick's charm and elegance, while Benjamin's appearance did not caught her attention. When her parents asked for her decision, Veronica spoke with certainty. "I will marry Patrick. He is the man I have been waiting for." The villagers celebrated her choice, and Patrick beamed with happiness. Benjamin was ashamed and embarrassed, but as the sun dipped below the horizon and the village quieted, Veronica felt the familiar pull of the river. She knew Leo would not let this pass without a word. Under the golden glow of the moon, Leo emerged from the river, his majestic form radiating power and fury. His iridescent tail shimmered as his deep blue eyes bore into Veronica's. "Veronica," he thundered, his voice carrying the weight of the waves, "why have you accepted the handsome man and rejected the ugly one?" Veronica trembled under his gaze but mustered her courage to speak. "Leo, Patrick is kind and noble. He is everything I have ever dreamed of in a husband. I couldn't bring myself to marry Benjamin when my heart belongs to another." But Leo's face darkened, his jealousy rising like a storm. "Did I not make myself clear?" he growled. "I want to be the only handsome man in your life. You must marry the ugly man, or I will not allow you to marry at all." Veronica fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Please, Leo, I beg you to let me follow my heart. Patrick makes me happy, and I deserve to find happiness." But Leo would not be swayed. "Happiness will not come at the cost of my pride. You will marry Benjamin, or you will remain bound to me forever." Veronica stood before Leo, her heart weighed down by Leo's ultimatum. She knew she had no other choice but to obey her spiritual husband's command, no matter how much it broke her heart. The next morning she went into the village, in search of Benjamin. She asked questions and people directed her to his house. She found Benjamin working in his small garden, his face lighting up with surprise as she approached. "Benjamin," she began, her voice trembling, "I have accepted to marry you." Benjamin blinked in disbelief. "You have accepted to marry me? But why? After you rejected me so clearly before, why now?" Veronica looked away, the pain of her decision hidden behind a forced smile. "I have thought about it," she said softly. "I have realized that true worth isn't about appearance, but about kindness and a good heart." Though Benjamin was still unsure, he nodded, a shy smile spreading across his face. "Thank you, Veronica. I will do my best to make you happy." When Veronica told her parents of her decision to marry Benjamin, they were stunned. "Benjamin," her father exclaimed, "why him of all people? You had so many fine men to choose from, and now you have chosen Benjamin? What has come over you?" Veronica lowered her head, her voice barely audible. "I have come to understand what truly matters. Please trust me on this, father." Her mother was confused. "But why Benjamin? What about Patrick? It is a surprise to us all." The most difficult part was facing Patrick. The next day, Veronica went to see Patrick to break the sad news to him. His bright smile faded when he saw the sadness in her eyes. "Patrick," she said, her voice breaking, "I can't marry you. I am so sorry." Patrick's face fell, his brows furrowing in confusion. "What? But why, Veronica? I thought you have accepted to marry me. I am the man you have been waiting for, and I love you so much, Veronica. Please don't do this to me. Tell me, what is the problem?" "I can't explain it," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Please understand, this is not what I wanted, but it's what must be." Patrick's heart breaking as he watched her walk away. The village buzzed with gossip about Veronica's sudden decision to marry Benjamin. Some whispered that she was under a curse, while others speculated she had lost her mind. The wedding was a humble affair as she stood beside Benjamin, her heart heavy with resignation. She felt the familiar presence of her spiritual husband, watching from the depth of the river. True to his word, Leo allowed the ceremony to proceed, as Veronica exchanged vows with Benjamin. Veronica's life with Benjamin quickly turned into a nightmare. At first, he treated her kindly, as if grateful for her decision to marry him, but that kindness faded as his insecurities and bitterness took hold. He began to show Veronica his true color. Veronica's life turned into a daily struggle. Benjamin, who was an average man with a small farm that barely sustained them, and he held a deep resentment in his heart. He refused to show Veronica any affection. Instead, he often lashed out at her with harsh words. "I know why you married me," he would say, his voice echoing through their small home. "I know you never loved me. You rejected me because I am ugly, but you came back to me because Patrick probably rejected you, and I was your last option." Veronica would try to defend herself, but Benjamin wouldn't listen. "Since I married you, nothing is working for me. My small farm is no longer doing well like before. You're nothing but bad luck." When Benjamin's anger turned to violence, Veronica's days became filled with pain and sorrow. He would beat her for the smallest reasons, shouting cruel words that cut deeper than his blows. One day, as Veronica was crying, Leo appeared to her. She looked up, with tears in her eyes. "Leo," she called, her voice barely above a whisper. "I can't take this anymore. I did what you asked. I married the man you chose for me, but he is cruel. He blames me for his failures and treats me worse than an animal. Please help me." Leo looked at her with a stern expression. "Veronica," he said, his voice a mixture of anger and sorrow, "I did not intend for this to happen. I thought Benjamin's kindness would make up for his lack of beauty. I never wanted you to suffer like this." Veronica looked up at him with desperation. "Then what do I do now?" she asked. "Leave him and come to me. Let me take you to my kingdom, where you will be cherished forever." But Veronica refused. "It is not possible. I can't follow you to your kingdom. Following you means I will be gone from the surface of earth. My parents cannot bear to loose me. Then I will end Benjamin's life for treating you bad." Veronica shook her head, her voice firm despite her tears. "I understand your anger, and I know Benjamin has wronged me, but I beg you, don't stain your hands with his blood." Leo vanished into the shadows. One day, as Veronica was walking down the road, when she saw Patrick, her ex-suitor. "Oh my God, Veronica, you are not looking good. What is the problem?" Veronica sighed. "It is Benjamin, my husband. He has made my life miserable." Patrick felt pity for her. "Veronica, I still love you even after you refuse to marry me." Veronica was ashamed of herself. "Can I share a secret with you?" she said. "Go ahead. You are free to share anything with me," said Patrick. Veronica hesitated for a moment, her heart heavy with shame and sorrow. She looked at Patrick, his concerned face reminding her of what she had rejected in the past. A kind and loving man. "Patrick," she began, her voice trembling, "I don't know where to start. My life has become a nightmare, and I feel like I'm trapped in a web I can't escape." Patrick placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You can trust me, Veronica. Tell me everything. Maybe I can help." Veronica took a deep breath and spoke quietly, ensuring no one else could hear. "My husband, Benjamin, was never the man I wanted to marry. I was forced into the marriage because of a spiritual bond I had with someone else. It's a long and strange story, but that bond dictated that I marry someone who would not rival him in looks or strength? Patrick's brow furrowed. A spiritual bond? Are you saying there is some supernatural force at play in your life? Veronica nodded, tears welling in her eyes. Yes, his name is Leo, my spiritual husband. He claimed me as his wife long ago, and though I begged him to let me live a normal life, he controlled my choices. I thought marrying Benjamin would give me some peace, but it's been nothing but misery. Benjamin hates me. He blames me for everything wrong in his life. Patrick's face grew serious, a mixture of disbelief and anger flashing across his face. Veronica, why didn't you tell anyone this before? You don't deserve to live like this. No one does. Is this spirit still controlling you? Veronica sighed deeply. He doesn't control me as much as he used to, but he watches over me. He intervenes when he thinks I'm in danger, but he's also the reason I'm trapped in this life. Patrick, I don't know what to do anymore. Patrick took her hands in his voice filled with determination. Veronica, you don't have to suffer alone anymore. Whatever this Leo is, he doesn't have the right to dictate your life. And as for Benjamin, he doesn't deserve you. You deserve to be happy, Veronica, and I want to help you find that happiness, even if it's not with me. Veronica looked into Patrick's eyes, surprised by his sincerity. Patrick, after everything, you still care about me. He nodded. I never stopped caring. You are the woman I fell in love with, and seeing you like this breaks my heart. Thank you, Patrick, she whispered, tears streaming down her face. I don't know what I did to deserve your kindness, but I'm so grateful. Patrick smiled gently. You deserve more kindness than you have ever received. I will take you to my pastor. He is a powerful man of God. Veronica felt a glimmer of hope as they set out on a journey to see the pastor. Patrick and Veronica sat in the pastor's modest office, a quiet sanctuary adorned with shelves of worn Bibles and religious books. Veronica shared her story, her voice trembling with pain. Pastor, she began, my husband, Benjamin, treats me terribly. He accuses me of being the cause of all his failures, and he's grown so bitter that nothing I do seems to make things better. I feel lost and broken. Patrick, seated beside her, added, She doesn't deserve this treatment, Pastor. She's been carrying this burden for too long, and I want to help her, but I don't know how. The pastor listened intently, nodding as they spoke. After they finished, he clasped his hands in prayer and bowed his head. Let us seek guidance from the Lord, he said, his voice steady and calm. After a few moments of intense prayer, the pastor raised his head, his eyes filled with clarity and conviction. He looked at Veronica with compassion and spoke with certainty. Veronica, the Lord has revealed the root of your husband's misfortunes to me, he began. Benjamin's failures and bad luck are not your doing. They are the result of his own actions, his hatred and mistreatment towards you. Veronica's eyes widened in surprise while Patrick leaned forward, eager to hear more. The pastor continued, As long as Benjamin harbors hatred against you, as long as he treats you with cruelty and blame, he will never find success in anything he does. His bitterness poisons his spirit and blocks his blessings. But if he changes his ways, if he treats you with love, respect, and kindness, he will see his fortunes turn around. I also see a spiritual husband standing beside you, Veronica, the pastor said solemnly. This spirit has been a shadow over your life, influencing your decisions and causing you pain. He led you to marry Benjamin, not because it was your destiny, but because he wanted to ensure no man would rival him in your life. Veronica's eyes welled up with tears. Yes, Pastor, she admitted, her voice trembling. Leo, the spirit of the river, forced me into this marriage. He made me choose Benjamin because he wasn't handsome or strong like him. But I can't live like this anymore. I want to follow my heart. I want to leave Benjamin and be free to love who I choose. The pastor leaned forward, his expression serious yet kind. Veronica, if you leave Benjamin and choose a man your spiritual husband sees as a rival, a handsome or strong man, he will not accept it. His jealousy will be ignited, and he may unleash his wrath on the man you love. But there is hope. You are not alone in this battle, Veronica. The Lord is mightier than any spirit. With prayer, faith, and determination, we can break the hold this spiritual husband has on your life. Once you are freed, you will be able to marry the man of your choice without fear. Veronica clasped her hands together, her voice breaking with emotion. Pastor, I'm tired of living in fear. I want to be free. Please help me. The pastor nodded. We will begin by praying for your liberation. This will not be an easy journey, Veronica. The spiritual husband will resist, but with the power of God we will overcome him. That evening the pastor gathered other prayer warriors from the church, and they began a powerful session of intercession for Veronica. They prayed fervently, calling on God to break every chain and sever every bond between Veronica and the spirit that had claimed her. As they prayed, Veronica felt a strange heaviness lift from her chest, as if an invisible weight she had carried for years was being stripped away. The room grew cold, and a strong wind blew through. Suddenly, Veronica let out a gasp. "He's here!" she cried, her voice trembling. The pastor remained calm, his voice unwavering, as he commanded, "Leo, spirit of the river, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You have no authority over Veronica's life. She is a child of God, and your hold over her is broken." A deep, rumbling voice echoed in Veronica's mind. "She is mine. I will not let her go." The pastor stood firm. "By the power of the Most High, I command you to release her now." After hours of prayer, Veronica collapsed to her knees, tears streaming down her face. She felt a warm light envelop her, and for the first time in years, she felt truly free. "It's over," the pastor said gently, helping her to her feet. "The spirit is gone, Veronica. You are free." Veronica wept tears of relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, God. I can finally live my life without fear." The pastor smiled. "Go and follow your heart, Veronica. The Lord has given you a new beginning. Be wise in your choices, and remember to stay in prayer always." With her spiritual husband gone, Veronica felt a sense of peace and clarity she hadn't known in years. She decided to leave Benjamin, knowing that their marriage had been built on control and misery. In time, she reconnected with Patrick, who stood by her side through her journey. Their bond grew stronger, built on mutual respect and love. Free from the chains of her past, Veronica was finally able to embrace the life she had always dreamed of, a life filled with love, freedom, and faith. Patrick, who had stood by her side through it all, proposed to her. "Veronica," he said, his voice steady with emotion, "I have loved you since the day I met you, and that love has only grown stronger. Will you marry me and let us create a life filled with love and happiness?" Tears streamed down Veronica's face as she nodded. "Yes, Patrick. I have been waiting for this moment. You have shown me what true love looks like, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Their wedding was a simple yet beautiful ceremony. The church was filled with friends, family, and members of the community. The pastor who had helped free her from her spiritual husband officiated the ceremony, his blessings heartfelt and powerful. As they exchanged vows, Veronica felt a peace she had never known before. After their marriage, Patrick and Veronica began their new life together. Patrick, a skilled businessman, expanded his ventures, and Veronica, filled with newfound confidence, supported him wholeheartedly. Together, they built a thriving business and became respected members of their community. Their home was filled with laughter and joy, and soon they were blessed with children who brought even more light into their lives.